everybody. How's it going? Welcome to HODL Line. I'm so sorry. As usual, I'm having technical difficulties with Facebook. So, yeah. Anyway.
Oh, well. You know, do you really even get that much viewership on Facebook?
It's actually growing, believe it or not.
Oh,
yeah.
Even though like 50% of the time it never works.
Even considering that, yes, it's kind of funny. It's because all us old people are on Facebook. That's what it is, you know. Us old people. Oh man, Dave Digital is in the house. Dave,
what's
appreciate you being here, man.
What's going on, man? Yeah, so Facebook, I hear Facebook's got some traction over there. It kind of had a lull when everything started to catch on, and then now that it's kind of it's doing some stuff from what I understand, and there is an audience, and it's an active audience over there. So yep. Facebook is kind of, I mean, I feel that. I feel you going in that direction.
Yep. I mean, I especially when I do a lot of my senior series stuff, I definitely like to go there because I know that's where the crowd is. If you ask one of my oldest granddaughters, she was going back and forth with me. She says Facebook and X are only for old people. But anyway, so if all you people on X, you're old. There it is. According to
is that because they're using the Snapchat and all that stuff?
I said, so what's? I asked her. I'm like, so what's not? Well, TikTok's hot. I'm like, okay, get out of here with TikTok.
Oh my god!
I mean, you got TikTok. What's not? Or not? What's not? WhatsApp.
Yeah,
and
but that's not streaming
platforms.
Yeah,
so I don't use any of that.
Instagram's actually really growing for
IG's good. And I've heard even local businesses are getting some luck, but maybe it was just commercials I saw for TikTok. But you do hear, like, if you listen to the conversations, like whenever they talk to different streamers, like I watched this one girl, she does hot dogs. She's called Sunshine's Hot Dogs, but you hear a lot of the people that come up, even though she doesn't necessarily do stuff on TikTok, that's where they always say they see her at. I see you on TikTok. I see you on TikTok. It's almost like they assume that. Now, a lot of times they do see them on TikTok, but that's like the new, I Googled it. Like, I see you on TikTok. It's like for all social media almost now that people are just assuming that they saw you on TikTok because they're on TikTok so dang much.
But there are a lot of people that will take all of, say, that person's videos and put them on their profile with a very similar name.
That's true.
So that they can get the views and the money, and they don't.
Yeah. That's true. And I think there's people that don't care. Like Rogan doesn't care. I think UFC doesn't care. I think there's a lot of those that don't care. They want you to do it. You know, now there are some that do care, but there are a lot of them that are like, go ahead. Like the comedy Kill Tony and all those guys, they don't care. You know? Yeah. So there's a group of people that are kind of figuring it out.
I think it's like the bigger people don't care, and the smaller fish in the pond might actually care, and or maybe do care.
Yeah,
they want people that views on their channel, not on somebody else's.
Yeah, but I think the people that figured it out realized that views are views are views are views are views are views are views, and so if somebody else can help that out, just let them. You know, that's okay. Don't be greedy just because you put something out there. You put something out there, you want people to share it. You want them to replay it. If you're so great that they want to create a whole new channel about you, that's so cool.
Yeah,
you know.
Yep, and they might clip you.
Jesse, welcome.
They might clip you better than you can clip yourself,
right?
You know?
Right. Yeah. Seriously though, seriously. Oh man,
they pay the few $1,000s a month for that AI rather than a few hundred or a couple tens of dollars. You know.
There you go.
Yeah,
most definitely. Well,
shall we start this thing off?
Yeah, I was about to say. It looks like we've got plenty of people lurking in the background. So good evening to all you lurkers. And then we just got one chiming in the chat. We already said good evening to Jesse. So if you guys have been following the series, you guys already kind of understand what we're going to ask Dave Digital. But Dave Digital, I'm going to lay out the question and let you give your answer to it. So we've asked a whole bunch of people what they think is the most important thing that would really help grow the crypto space and get crypto adoption, moving people over from TradFi to crypto. And then the second kind of part of it was, if you were in charge of a project, what would you think that the most specific thing would be that you would have on your project so that you could really grow that project and move people over from TradFi to the crypto space?
Well, so surprised that you asked that. And you definitely are catching me off guard here today. But let me just say that here's my gut feeling on crypto. Maybe I should give you a background first. I was telling the guys before, maybe I have 8 years paying attention to crypto. Maybe it's more like 5. Maybe it's more like 3 really paying attention. You know what I'm saying? And before that, my financial or my investment strategies or thoughts or knowledge was nothing. I wasn't paying any attention to any of that before crypto. And so now let me say what me in this space says. And I say crypto's effed. It's all crap. It's all S coins. It's all F.ETH. It's all just horrible. It's the worst thing I've ever seen, and it's not been adopted by anybody, and there's no chance of anybody ever adopting it. That's me right now in the bear market, how I feel. But that's also me getting slapped around, seeing all the scams, and you know what I mean, and taking the wrong bets and doing things like that. There's a lot of personal stuff that creates that opinion that I have about most of crypto. Do I like hype? Yeah. But am I expecting it to slap you in the face? Yeah. Do I like Solana? Yeah. But do I think that it'll probably slap you in the face? Yeah. Now, Bitcoin's a little bit different. Bitcoin, it's gained traction. It's done some stuff. But do I feel like it's adopted already? And what do I think about its future? It's got a big battle in front of it. It's not easy, nor has it been easy up until this point. But knowing that this is the question that you've been posing on the channel, I didn't just want to come on here with my limited opinion. I mean, as you guys know, I like to break things down into simple terms. I like to actually go and try to get the facts if they're out there, find something that maybe we can even discuss, and maybe we can, by the end of this show, maybe, just maybe, we can actually answer or at least get some ideas that maybe we didn't have about the questions that you ask. If you want, you can share my screen, Keith. Okay, so I looked. I went and asked the AI. I said, Claude was my partner on this, and I asked him, hey, look, since I've been around, I need to know what's been adopted. What does adoption look like? What has been adopted, both financially and technologically? Okay, so there's a few things that we want to start with, right? Bitcoin's 17 years old, which also caught me off guard. Holy crap, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just 12 years old yesterday, if you guys remember. You know what I'm saying? It feels like to me, just yesterday we were saying it was 12 years old, but it's 17 years old. Okay, it's saying that 14 to 30% of U.S. adults own crypto in 2026. So it just depends on who you're asking, what that number is. And it says that in the last year, only 2% use crypto to pay for stuff. Okay. You have this many global owners, somewhere between 500 and 3/4 million, or 3/4 billion, right? And that's crypto owners. And the internet was less than 6, or is right around 6 billion, and smartphones right around 5 billion. Okay. And then less than 1% of crypto's share of U.S. consumer payment transactions. Okay, so credit cards are 35%, debit cards are 30%, cash is 14%. Okay, all of this, I mean, these numbers can vary either way, right? But this is going to set a base for us. Okay, so I ask it, what do you think? I mean, what does it look like in the future? And it says it's not uniformly bleak. It depends on which race Bitcoin is running, right? As an asset people hold, Bitcoin at year 17, 14 to 30% of U.S. adults actually tracking ahead where credit cards was tracking. They say that credit cards is less than 33%, and far ahead of where debit cards, less than 10%, were at year 17. So if you compare it to other financial tools, it's not that far behind. It just appears from the inside to be far behind, at least to me. Money technologies are historically the slowest adopters, roughly 30 years to majority. Okay, so we're looking, Bitcoin being 17 years old, they're saying we still got 13 years of this stuff, of this grinding it out before actually we can expect any sort of adoption, if it's going to grab the adoption. So we need trust, merchant networks, regulation, not just gadgets on the shelves. Okay, The bleed part is payments. Crypto's used for actual purchases, or crypto used for actual purchases has been flat, 1 to 2% of US adults for 5 straight years. Okay. Now ownership grew, but actually using it has not. Okay. But listen, at the same time, as a payment method, they were saying debit, contact us, and mobile wallets. All of this went faster than what crypto's going. Okay. They showed the steady usage curves. Okay, so let's look at different things. So years from launch to 50% of US adoption. Okay, you can see down here, we've got a 30, 25, this is in years. So we can just look over 30 years for credit cards to be adopted, over 25 years for debit cards. The PC, just under 20, the cell phone took right around 18 years. Online banking took 14, 15 years. And then you can just kind of go down the list there. So there's a lot of things down here. Chat GPT, still not quite there yet, but it's obviously growing really quickly. And then you can see where Bitcoin sits on this list. Okay, so it's showing, it's painting the picture right now that Bitcoin's not that far behind. Let me stop at this point and ask you guys, so far from what we're seeing, what are you guys thinking? Is anything showing you surprise here? Is this just how you saw it was? What do you guys think from the data that we're looking at so far?
I mean, honestly, I'm not too surprised by any of the data. That's mostly just because a lot of this I kind of already knew. There are a few things that I think could help this, and I think a lot of it is just a crypto image, where we've hashed that out a few times on this.
Right.
Whereas in the crypto image is very different than the banking image or the image of your home computer or something like that, where it's very easy to kind of have that slow adoption wave where it's just a big barrier where it's like, okay, we're just going to hop on in, everyone eventually had a home computer because of the fact that it just slowly got cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Whereas it's a little bit different with Bitcoin. So
I think similarly, the internet was they had that similar reputation. It's for scams and everything's going on as scams, and you're just going to be scammed on the internet. But
that's
any
probably the
surprises?
strongest correlation,
Yeah. Yeah, I would say.
I don't know if these two gentlemen have any thoughts.
My thoughts, none of those stats surprise me whatsoever. Let's just start there. And I will say, as I've been going back through, because one of the shows I'm doing, Jar and I have the 100th episode coming up. So I've been going back through some of my predictions from previous episodes. And boy, was I ever bullish when Trump got elected, the halving happened. And boy, we should be like, on a Bitcoin standard by now, if you were to listen to me. But so what do I know? But anyway, I as I've matured in the space, like anything else, and get a better understanding of things and moving along, that stuff doesn't surprise me. But I will say that I think, how do I put this? I do believe that we're going to see adoption, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, initially, I think for like the institutions, TradFi, it's going to be Bitcoin, but I don't think that retail is going to end up being Bitcoin. That's just my opinion, or at least for the layer of the transaction layer. You see what I'm saying? But I do think the adoption is going to come a lot like we've talked in this series, when people are using it without realizing that they're using it, and or that people want to use it because, hey, crypto's cool, not like a scam, pumped out fun, a la, that kind of thing. But Del, go jump. What do you got?
So I had one question right off the bat, Dave. That little study that you showed, was that like US only or was that worldwide?
It was US, I think. Which part of it? I think most of it was US. I think unless it's
just like kind of like all the numbers. I don't know if it said it or if I just missed it.
So this part is adults in the US. This is also
Okay.
U.S. adults. Over here is global crypto owners. And then it looks like here, this is the U.S. consumer payment transactions. Of course, Bitcoin's age is just Bitcoin's age.
Right, but okay,
Dar-
well, that helps kind of what I was going to say because I can't speak for other countries or people in other countries or people still even in America, but I feel like a lot of people in America are following like what a lot of influencers say is like, oh, just buy Bitcoin and hodl it and be rich, and that's what they think. It's like, so, but that's kind of like the whole point of cryptocurrency is to buy it and then use it because it's faster, it's better, it's anonymous in some cases, but
Yeah, and I think you're onto something there. I think that's one of the restrictions that we here in the U.S. don't actually see, and this is something that I saw in this report, is that we don't need it as Americans, but
Yeah.
there are people
Yeah.
who do,
Yep.
and the people who do, that's a whole different percentage wise. It's a whole different look on it. They're not there. It's different whenever you're in the U.S. and you don't need it compared to these places that do need it. And
yeah, I
there
mean,
was a
like
few.
if you took those numbers that were US based and then you compared it to say like El Salvador that has adopted Bitcoin as currency, that graph would be completely different from El Salvador, I feel. No, I mean I could be wrong, but they have adopted it as a currency. And here
Right.
in America, like we're already pretty much in a digital currency era. It's just we haven't adopted crypto currently.
Right.
Well, one of the bigger barriers though is the fact that we've got the world reserve currency.
Exactly.
Whereas in some place like El Salvador, it's like, well, do you want to use a less regulated internet money, or do you want to get paid in your El Salvadorian dollar and then tomorrow not be able to buy the thing that you were looking at today?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
isn't that
that's
why they
serious.
kind of adopted Bitcoin to kind of fix that issue where, like, your 10,000 Satoshis is worth this much. Granted, the price may go up or down 5 or 10% in the next 24 hours. So your loaf of bread, instead of being like 60 cents, could be like 65 cents tomorrow, or it could be like 55 cents tomorrow.
Yeah.
And remember, a lot of these, what we call third world countries, what are they actually utilizing? They are using crypto, but what are they looking for? They're looking for
Stable
USDT.
coins.
They're looking for USDT, right? Or well, I'd say Circle, but it's mostly USDT. And they want it on the cheapest network possible. They ain't looking at Ethereum. They're looking at things like Tron to get their
I think you're
USDT.
onto something.
Yeah. So that's, and listen, if that becomes the on-ramp for people to be like, okay, so be it. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually the US dollar is going to collapse. So, okay, they're going to then move over to whatever the standard becomes. It could be a gold pegged stable coin. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? We should really, because we've been holding them in the background here for a couple of minutes, say hey to Andy. Andy, welcome in the house.
Hi, Andrea.
And let's
Andy.
see. Zach, welcome. Appreciate you being here. And I love it. Here we go. This is what I was chuckling about a minute ago. I just looked at DD's screen.
It's either we're all having fun or
It's
making
pretty
funny
cool.
faces, or we're all scared crapless.
Yeah. It's awesome. I love that. I love it. Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I didn't want to let them think we weren't like
No, that's the most important part of any show is the people that are back that are out there.
Amen.
Yeah, man.
We're doing it for them.
Yeah. So as we're just kind of building that picture, we don't necessarily need to stop at each one of the graphs, but we can look at the little summaries. And so it says that at age 17, Bitcoin ownership less than 20% is mid-pack, or roughly around 20% is mid-pack, behind consumer gadgets, so like the cell phone and things like that, but ahead of things like debit cards and credit cards, or near credit cards at the same age. Okay, so that's not That's not saying Bitcoin's too far behind. It says 1 in 2 1 in 12 humans own crypto after 17 years. Not so bad. That's bigger than PayPal. Okay. And so the internet reached 10 times more people in roughly the same span. So that's tech versus payments, right? So for every 10 Americans who hold crypto, only about 1 has spent any of it in the past year. People treat Bitcoin like a stock, not like a money. So this is a real gap in adoption. So it kind of paints that picture too. Credit cards built over 50 plus years own 2/3 of all transactions. Crypto doesn't quite register on this scale yet, right? So it's less than 2%. Whatever gets built next has to beat the tap to pay in under 2 seconds. So this is our real friction, right? So now we're all tapping to pay, especially the kids. And so that basically takes us through this part and kind of sets that stage for what is crypto, where is it at, does it, where is it lacking at, right? And so this is a lot looking at Bitcoin and crypto. So if you look at it, let's look at the playbook for adoption, right? So stablecoin volume before and after the Genius Act, okay? So it went from 1 trillion to 4 trillion. So what it's saying is stablecoin usage jumped so much simply because of legislation, okay? So we use tap to pay. What happened to make us use tap to pay? How did it go from 1 to 60%? COVID happened. Nobody was using it before COVID. So it needed this catalyst. The World Bank average remittance fee, 6.4% versus that 1%, right? That's how they used to do, the Western Unions and things like that, right? So now we're getting that taken care of. India, and according to chain analysis, the adoption index, India, Pakistan, Vietnam, Brazil, all of these lead in the adoption. US has it, but that's more of ownership. And all these other ones are actually using it for stuff. So, and then it talks about the government using Bitcoin. So think about that. This is one of the stats I did not think about. It never even crossed my mind about tap to pay. Did tap to pay even cross you guys' mind that how we went from not using it to using it so quickly?
Mm-hmm. Well, and yes, mostly because of the fact that I've thought if we really want massive crypto adoption, we need to be able to tap to pay someone else's phone. Where I just tap my phone against yours, boom, you have the crypto and we're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was around tap to pay as the technology was already around 10 years prior to whenever we finally decided to start using it. And what happened was a catalyst. It was COVID. Nobody wanted to touch anything, so there was this catalyst that happened. And that's what it's saying. No technology in the last 50 years crossed into the mainstream on its merits alone. The internet needed a browser to hide the protocol, right? You had to make it user friendly. Debit cards needed banks to mail them. Credit cards needed a court ruling. We can go look up that court ruling, and a reckless mass mailing. So they did old snail mail to get it in everybody's hands. They forced it into people's hands. Tap to pay needed the pandemic. So every S curve that went vertical had a specific nameable catalyst, and Bitcoin's payment curve is flat precisely because none of these 6 catalysts have fully yet fired. So
am I like the only one here that doesn't use tap to pay? Like even on a debit card or a phone?
You've never? Or you just avoid it?
I don't think I ever have.
You've never been without, you never forgot your wallet and used your phone?
I mean, I've forgotten my wallet, but half the time I'm half a mile away from home, and I'm like, hey, I'll be right back. Give me like 5 minutes, maybe 3. And that's it.
I now use it mostly. I don't necessarily use my phone mostly, but the credit card bar where I just tap it, I use it mostly.
Yeah, but I don't like my credit card information being stored on my phone. I mean, I'm sure it probably is in somewhere.
It's already there. It's not only stored there, but it's also in probably 1,000.
But it's like when I click on something, it's like autofill, and I'm like, yeah, autofill is blank because I don't like to keep it. But I mean, maybe that's just me.
You're just punishing yourself. It's already out there. All your stuff's already out there.
Badell is very anti-technology. So he likes
not really. Actually, I went to a 3D print store that opened up near me, and I was like, "Oh, this is like just under $400 and it can print 4 colors. Shit, I paid like $350 for mine like 5 years ago, and it does one color, and it's nothing but a POS at the point. That's why it's been sitting on the floor for years collecting dust. And I'm like, all right, next investment. And I'm like thinking about it. And I'm like, what am I even going to print with it? Like, granted, I mean, the opportunities are endless because the technology has evolved so much, but.
Well, Andy's with you. She doesn't use it. She doesn't do it. She uses cash. I do only with the card. I never use my phone. Oops, I almost just dropped the F-bomb right there. For Google and Pay and Apple Pay and all them. But yeah, the hell with them. But the card.
I mean, how do you guys get memberships on YouTube?
What's got memberships on YouTube?
How do you buy them?
I use PayPal because I got to pay cash because they don't take stuff like gold or crypto.
Well, unfortunately, I'm subscribed to so many different channels and events that I just saved the card on my laptop, which is not something I like.
You have Google on your laptop?
Well, of course.
Of course.
It's Windows.
So,
I'm sure within a few clicks, I could just import my laptop to my phone because it's an Android, and it'll all be set up to go, but I feel my laptop is more secure than my phone, to be honest. But
it's the same amount of secure.
So Dave,
none of it's secure. If you become a target, you're effed. Plain and simple. Just don't become a target.
Yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact. Dave, so you pointed out a bunch of like catalysts, as you called them, to get these things to be adopted. You really think that adoption is going to require some kind of external catalyst in order to make that happen? Or do you
No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut
you
off.
I was just there, or do you think it's just going to kind of eventually get there because I guess the catalyst could be economic collapse or whatever, but I guess, does it really need the catalyst, and does it really need one of those catalysts?
Well, of course, there's no, it has to happen this way. This is just thoughts about and looking at the history. And so, of course, there's not it has to happen. But according to this, it says that no technology in the last 50 years has crossed on merits alone. And then we think, what does that even mean? And then you start to break it down. Like the internet was there, and it was the internet. But until you put a browser on it and people could actually surf, nobody used it. I mean, except for the nerds. It's the same way right now with Bitcoin, right? And so until you make that easier, we don't have the same, and I know we hate it, but we don't have the seed phrases. We don't have all the stuff that goes along with it. It just happens, then maybe. If you think about, I mean, all of this just talks about if Bitcoin starts to use the default rails, it's saying, just the same way that debit did, the same way that other things have done before. I think that I don't know that it has to. I think that those that are prepared for a catalyst to happen are the ones that are going to be in the best position. I think there's probably going to be a catalyst, and I don't think that
you're trying to predict the catalyst.
I think that if it follows the playbook, I think that something unexpected will happen, and then that's where your adoption gets to. Is it a war? Is it a nuke? Is it I don't know what it could be. Is it in 5 years, 10 years? I don't know. Is it tomorrow? I don't know. Do I think that Bitcoin is in line to find something? Probably. It could. I mean, it's right the right position, and there are people that use it a lot.
No,
I mean, you really have to look outside of the US to really kind of get the idea of what that catalyst is. And for the most part, the catalyst to crypto is either restriction of access from global payment systems or your dollar collapsing. And I think at that point, it doesn't really matter what we use if we're having, restriction from the global payment systems. Americans would grab anything. or if you're having our dollar collapse, I mean, it really wouldn't matter what we use because the whole world's gonna just be on fire at that point because we are the reserve. So you would see the entire world at the same time gravitate towards something, and that's it's a big part of why I've said that your stable coins don't matter, especially if you're going to have that catalyst that is pushing everyone towards crypto. Then your stable coins are going to be non-existent as well. Like, it doesn't matter if I have a stable coin that's pegged to the dollar if the dollar is absolutely plummeting.
That was my point from earlier. Right. Exactly.
Now, I don't know if anybody here truly thinks that the dollar is going to fail. I mean,
yes, 100%.
In our lifetime. Let me preface that. In our lifetime. And so I think that stable coins, and that has to do with this too, that's a lot of people, that's what they adopt is a stable coin. And that they do use it a lot. But on Bitcoin, go ahead.
I think it's just because of that one-to-one correlation with something that they already understand. You know, it'd be very easy to branch off once you're already with that one-to-one correlation where it's like, oh, I have a dollar. Oh, I have a digital dollar. You know, it's the same thing, but it'd be very easy from there to be like, well, I'm already in the crypto system and everything that I just had in USDT is worth pennies on the dollar because of some catalyst that they'd switch over to like XRP, ADA, and literally anything else. They'd flee out of it the same way that we see everyone fleeing out of your crypto to the stable coins every bear market.
Yeah, but I think that if we want true adoption, the stablecoin layer is going to have to be strong. It's going to have to be resilient because too many people, and it's going to have to be invisible, I think. You know, because most people are they just want to transact. They're not into, just like with the internet, unless you were a nerd in some back chat and back forums, you weren't into the internet until, and then whenever it finally hit the news and they were like, well, what is the internet? You know what I'm saying? It's already older now. It's the same way with Bitcoin. Until it's just being used and it's just normal, most people aren't going to find it. They're busy. You know, people have work and they have lives and they have normal stuff. Most of them don't even get to invest unless it's in a 401k and it just happens normally. That's where Bitcoin starts to get adoption, is when it starts, just like with SpaceX, it just automatically got put into the big package, right? The whatever it is that they automatically buy. Again, I don't know all the terms, but what do they call them when there's a group of them? The index fund.
Oh, an index.
SpaceX just automatically goes into the index fund, and now all these 401ks are going to buy it. That's what Bitcoin needs. It needs to be in an index fund somewhere. You know, like, and I don't mean ETFs that BlackRock hold. I mean, for real, the main deal. You know what I'm saying? That way, everybody just naturally buys it.
After that,
I think everything's going to tank, but I think the strong ones bounce back. I think that's just part of the cycle. You have to tank, and then you have to bounce back. And then the ones that don't bounce back, they just don't bounce back. You know, the tech didn't work. Just like Ask Jeeves, it just didn't work. Shout out to Ian.
Oh God, I haven't heard that.
I like Jeeves.
Yeah, shout out to Ethereum.
I was around back in right before AOL days, when AOL would just mail out discs and hey, you get 1 45-minute internet session, and then
exactly, and nobody's mailing out Bitcoin.
Sister, brother, get off the phone. Like, that. I'm sorry, BC. I think you're a little too young for that era, but
no, I remember being all upset because mom had to talk to grandma for 5 hours, so I can't be on the computer.
And she was paying long distance. Come on, Mom.
Yeah, long distance, right. You're swapping carriers every other day. And
see, I was that little troublemaker kid that learned how to use the telephone box, and I would disconnect the house phone and then reconnect it just to my computer, so then I was online 24/7 and nobody could use the phone.
You'll have to call the repairman. He'll be out in a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, it's fine. I got internet free for a week. No house phone though. My buddies can't call me. It's okay.
That's funny.
Yeah. So if you guys want to wrap it up with this guy, at least on the Bitcoin side, kind of what
Mhm.
the AI says what the playbook would be. It would be, first of all, it would say make Bitcoin invisible, right? Stop selling Bitcoin, sell the thing it does, instant settlement, no chargebacks, borderless, behind an interface where no user ever sees a key, an address, or the word blockchain. So that's one of the first things it suggests. Of course, again, this is just the AI suggesting, right? It said ride the default rails, get BTC where money already lives, 401k menus, bank apps, payroll allocations. People don't adopt money, they receive it. ETFs prove the model for investing, extend it to earning and spending. Okay, so you got to get it into their pockets without them knowing it's in their pockets. Win one corridor completely. Don't boil the ocean. They're suggesting that the remittance parts, get that under control and take over all the remittance, take over all the Western Union business, all the high fee business. That'll help it, and then people will start to see it or start to use it on a larger scale than just me telling you to adopt it and then you going and getting the wallet. Right? We're talking about the bigger picture, actual adoption. Get ready for the shock. You can't schedule a currency crisis, but you can pre-install the exit. So we need on-ramps, we need off-ramps, we need liquidity, we need that fast transaction, that fast user experience. We need all that to happen. And then another suggestion is to build it for the machines. Get it ready for the AI usage. Get it ready for AI and the agents to use it in the background. So these are just some suggestions about what can we do to make Bitcoin more usable, more adopted. Where does it need to go? It doesn't need more technology behind it. It doesn't have this marketing arm that gets it into the 401ks. It doesn't have that yet, that gets it. All the teachers are buying it just like they're buying SpaceX, and all the police officers and all the firemen, all these people that just naturally have these retirements that are just set up to buy index funds. Bitcoin needs to be there. We can't just go, it's peer to peer, and I get it, but that may be the biggest fault right now. Is I'm trying to get you to adopt it, you're trying to get him to adopt it, he's trying to get him to adopt it, and it really just needs to be adopted, almost not forced on people, but kind of like that.
But doesn't that ruin it?
Mm.
I'm putting.
It depends on your goals.
Now.
So if you're just task oriented, right, and I do sometimes get the blinders on, and if the task is adoption, I mean,
yeah.
So
So
like,
you're saying any adoption is good adoption.
Well, and that's why, like, I've really
that's a discussion to have.
That's why I've really wanted to branch out to all sorts of different people, because it's like, for me, crypto adoption would be using the technology. For other people, it would just be having the most amount of people possible holding on to the asset. Whether they're using it or not, they now know about it. It's now a part of their repertoire. So it really just depends how you want to define that adoption of crypto. And I as much as I've hated the ETFs because it's not the actual using of the technology, it has opened up the door to the crypto space more than anything else really has.
It gave it the free marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like, I hate to say it, but like, those people that bought those ETFs, granted it's kind of different than having your own wallet, but wait until their exchange or whatever goes down and they get fucking rugged. Sorry, excuse my language. Like, I'm not saying it will happen or it's going to happen, but there's always that chance. And then they're like, oh, well, I could just buy Bitcoin and I can buy this little $100 device and have my own keys and my own crypto, and then nobody can ever take it from me. And maybe, I'm not going to say that's what will happen, or maybe it needs to happen, but it would suck if that did happen. But it would give Bitcoin a bad idea, but also a better idea of like having your own money in your own pocket, kind of like our grandparents and ancestors did, of like Oh, you got a bunch of load of cash? Guess what? You don't put it in the bank. You hide it under the mattress. Put it under the carpet. You know, things like that. Like, I mean, I just kind of feel we're kind of leaning back towards that of like your own physical asset or control of your own funds. I mean, whether the funds may be digital or not, but you have physical control of it.
I think to get to that point, though, we're going to have to, you know, get past the boomer and millennial generation. I mean, I'm the millennials, but like a lot of the millennial generation is not going to be, they're going to have some problems with it. Whereas in like your Gen X and your Gen Alpha and your Gen Z would be very, very easy for them to just be like, oh, well, I'm used to everything on my phone anyway. Now, how can I have it where it's on my phone, but it's actually mine and no one can take it? So
well, I think we're probably about to move away from phones and probably into something else, whatever that new thing is going to be. But I got a feeling that it won't be the phones for very much longer.
Well, whether it be, you know, I use phones, but I mean, you could definitely have it on your like your Meta glasses, or it's like here's my AR glasses, and it's just got a crypto wallet on there, and you do it all that way. You know, it'd be very, very easy to integrate all of this into whatever kind of technology we're going to use.
Use the Meta glasses with AI to facial recognize the person that you're paying, and then the person that you're paying has to facial recognize your face to make sure that you're the proper receiver, and then it auto sends it, and then
your agent pays their agent,
goods, or the goods are auto delivered to them.
Yeah,
that's way too much AI in my opinion, but I feel that's probably something that's going to be happening soon. I mean, I see Meta glasses like doing crazy stuff
sooner than you know.
Yeah,
I think so.
One on Bandit, welcome. Appreciate you being here.
Yep, he dropped a few comments.
Yes. Go ahead, grab him, BC.
All right. So this was his first one. What's up? You know, get it because you can't make money without it. Send it because you're getting others involved. Pump it because you're pumping your bags too. And hodl it because we're in it for the long haul. Learn fast and stack faster, friends. And he said he appreciates all of the great knowledge here. And we appreciate you tuning in.
Absolutely.
I like that, what he said. It's like, okay, hodl it, but spend it, share the knowledge, use the tech, share the tech, like just spread the word.
You know, and that's
make
kind
America
of
great again.
Make crypto great again.
Alex O, shout out Otter gang.
And he obviously agrees about the Meta glasses. There you go. There you go.
Well, and it's something I saw very recently on like an Instagram reel talking about how every technology kind of wipes out the technology before it, and it was going from how video killed the radio star, and then you've got your influencers now basically killed the video star, and then what's next? And they kind of posited like hologram stars, you know, where it's like this person seems like they're legitimately in front of you. Well, that's just one little entertainment sector of technology. Whereas we're specifically looking at like payroll systems. Well, you had your old school bank, you had cash, which replaced gold, and then credit cards replaced cash. Now you have phones that are making literally every dollar digital. Well, what's next? You know, how do we, what is moved from it's all ones and zeros to a different kind of 1 and 0, where we're not even having any kind of physical transaction here, which is kind of where it's all headed.
Yeah, I think that's what leaves is the transaction for us. I think it happens with the agent. We may initiate something, but I think they do it. I don't know how long the way that is, or because they're still dumb, as the AI is still pretty dumb.
But
I think that's where we're headed. Is eventually, this is just the first inning. We got a long way to go.
This is something we've actually talked quite a bit about here, where if we're all headed towards this kind of AI world, we will most likely have an agentic economy. And what is the easiest way to really have this agentic economy where they're all going to be transacting with each other? They're going to be handling all of our information, things like that. Multiple pay rail systems, things like that. Are the banks really going to be able to handle an agentic payload like that? No, you're going to have multiple forms of payment systems and things like that. So crypto would really be extremely useful. And then your crypto agent could very easily arbitrage, make you money within the money while you're just doing your own thing.
Now, here's my question about that, about all the transactions. I don't know how many transactions per second, say the banking industry uses per second in the US of A, but I'm sure it's in the millions.
So Visa handles something like 3 million TPS. But you're also talking about they're not settling transactions at the time of the transaction, which is where.
Yeah, but I mean, is there any blockchain technology in crypto right now that can handle that much?
No, but at the same time, where crypto really has the leg up, it's like even if you're only handling, we'll say on some of Solana's really high estimations that they're doing like 10,000 TPS, which, for something that is not as big as, say, Visa is quite a large TPS. And as things move forward, they'd probably increase the TPS. If you can handle even a fraction of that, not everyone's going to be using the same payment systems. And you're settling the transaction, whereas in Visa has a lot of back-end work that they have to do every single day to handle a transaction that happened 5 days ago, 2 weeks ago. And that clogs up a bunch of what they're actually able to do.
Well, that's why your bank account will always say pending, right?
Yeah, for like a week. Whereas in if we used crypto, they're not having to do all this back-end work later. And it would just be extremely seamless, which is why I see agents kind of leaning towards crypto, unless Visa's like, hey, we made this really cool blockchain. You don't know that you're using it, and we're actually settling transactions like that. Well,
wouldn't that be kind of considered like a CBDC though?
No, no.
Because I mean, they are a bank.
That'd be government. CBDCs are strictly government.
Oh yeah, and again, CBDC.
Central bank,
central bank,
USDC. Pick a stable coin that is basically going to do that at this point. I'm just saying. We got a one gifted membership by Mining Stocks, and Mining Stocks, welcome, by the way. Appreciate you.
Good job, Mining Stocks. Who got it?
Yeah, it is trade at Joe's. Trade at Joe's. Appreciate you, man, and thank you for that. I love Mining Stock, great supporter of the channel. Appreciate you very much. So there you go. Membership has its privileges. Welcome to the CCM family. And again, we got a whole bunch of perks in there, including, and in my opinion, some of the best ones is you get to help me write the new ebook that I'm putting together. So take advantage of that. You can check the member section on YouTube. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to derail, but I got to shout them out because Mining Stock's all over this stuff here.
Yeah, no worries. Definitely worth the shout out there. So appreciate that, Mining Stocks.
And there we go. Payment systems are definitely regional. And what's this? LBC is in the house. Welcome, LBC. Oh, BC does exist. Yes, BC does exist.
Are you sure about that, LBC? Are you 100% on that?
Yeah, this could be his doppelganger right here above us.
No, this is actually the AI. It is
exactly
filling in for me today.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh boy, what did I miss? Something about LBC.
You know why he said, "Oh, BC does exist," but does he though? Yeah.
No.
He's live every Monday with us. Come on now.
Yeah. We've just, I've had a lot going on with work stuff. So, me and him have not been talking as much as we used to. So,
yeah, and we missed the counter this. I'm just saying.
I know.
and the every morning streams, but that's been a while. But life happens, and as long as you're doing better, that's all it is.
I'm not sure any of this is real. Yeah, we're all AI agents right now, dude.
AI, baby.
There you go.
I'm always 100% real. That's why I always go off the rails most of the time.
I expected that's what your AI would say.
I haven't done it yet tonight, but maybe there's a 35% chance that I will.
There you go. Well, listen, we're already over 50 minutes in, so maybe we try to wrap this up a little bit. Dave, I mean, I know we kind of got into stats and all this other stuff, but I mean, what's your posits, man? What is Dave Digital thinking deep down? Like, where is this going, man?
I think it's I think that's a long road for crypto. I think that crypto itself, just that side of it, not necessarily Bitcoin. I think it's a long road, but there are things that are moving that I didn't know about. Like they say that that it's a really big deal that Telegram integrated Ton. So they say that that's huge. It's like 1 billion users just on Telegram. They say they all activated a wallet without knowing that they activated one. So I mean, those type of things are huge. They say that other countries are using Tron like crazy. Yep. So there are things that are huge. There are existing products. They say that Base it's up there to compete with some of the with XRP and things like that is what it's saying, and for transactions. So I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna have to see. I'm a fan of Bitcoin. I'm a fan of a few altcoins. But as far as crypto, I can't tell you that I know enough to know how we're gonna get there. What is the adoption? I've seen possibilities, like they say, let's get actual Satoshi cards and send them out to everybody with free Satoshis on there. How do you get that approved? That's if you follow an old playbook. So it just, I don't know. I think that Bitcoin has a long road ahead of it. Here's what I do love. I love the community. I came into crypto just like all of you guys, because it was fast, it was moving, it was hot, there was people making money. But really, it's the people inside of crypto that I really fell in love with. And so that's what I love about crypto. I don't think the people are going anywhere. But I do see that the group also branches out, and we also get to start talking about other things other than just adoption of Bitcoin. I mean, because tonight, I don't know about you guys, but about an hour after we get done, I'm going to go watch Kill Tony. And that's fun. You know what I mean? There's other things that are going on that are absolutely that could get your mind off of it, and you could just have a great time with.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's where we end up at is a lot. We're just friends, and this community just grows into bigger friends, and we share more of what we've got going on with each other. And then hopefully in the background, crypto gets the adoption that we want, and everybody makes the money that they want, and they can all get the version that they want out of it. If you're here for the tech, maybe there is a new tech that tickles that fancy, and you're like, yeah, that was the one. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. Those people over there are using it how I wanted, and maybe other people get the other thing, like, oh, I made a lot of money on this. And I hope that there's something in there for everybody. Do I think it's a long road? I do. I think that there's a lot of stuff that's gotta happen, or maybe we get lucky. I say lucky. A bad thing may happen, and that may help. The catalyst. That's not us necessarily getting lucky, but that does accomplish the goal, hopefully, of the adoption. But I don't know. I'm here for the ride.
There you go.
And we are all here with you, sir. That's
I think we've had quite a few steps forward in the crypto movement and crypto life. But then because of everything else going on in the world, we've taken double the amount of steps back.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, don't forget, there's a lot of big names. I mean, big investment firms that are saying that this year Bitcoin's going to blow a freaking top.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm not as smart as those people. So it may. I don't know. Just we're at a good price. I think. I think there's no doubt that eventually Bitcoin hits 300,000, 400,000. So buying now, I think is good. I think there's no doubt that Solana at least goes to double from here. That's, if you like double, that's good. I think that hype is a good risky play, but it's fun because of the reasons I've talked to you guys about it. I didn't see it get shielded. I just heard people get liquidated on it, and that means they were using it. So, but like I said at the beginning of the show, do I expect to get burnt? I mean, almost 99% of the other projects have burnt me. So
Yeah. So why not? Yeah.
yeah. And I call it burnt. I just have a shorter horizon. Maybe I would say differently, 25 years into this, and I'm like, oh yeah, those ones that I thought burnt me made me rich. I was short-sighted. I don't know.
But it's also hard to, it's not hard, but it's easy to say that when you talk about like crypto in a whole. Like if you were saying, oh, this coin, they burned me. These coins didn't, but you don't need to say what you made money on and what you lost money on. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of people talk about crypto in a whole, and then they put Bitcoin aside, or they put Ethereum aside. So it's like those are like two separate, or the top 1 and 2 cryptos, but then the rest of the coins are all just, the crypto atmosphere, because there's what, like 6, 7, 8,000 crypto coins at the moment, like
100 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's 100 and some thousand of them or whatever.
I think there's like 60 or 70,000 on average that are created every day or every week, or I mean that's how it was like coming out of the bull market. I don't know what it is now, but it's like there's so many coins in the crypto atmosphere that it's hard to say like the crypto is good, because then people are like, oh, well, what about this coin? Who even knows about that coin? Like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, like I've got my top 5, top 10, and I'm sure these 3 gentlemen have a different top 5, top 10, but
I don't think anybody's coming for Bitcoin's job. I don't see anybody else keeping their job. Ethereum, basically any of them, maybe Chainlink does, but I don't know if that shows in price what everybody wants. I just think it's being adopted behind the scene, and since it's already at $800 each one, then we don't have to worry about that anymore, right, guys?
Right.
There you go.
Wait, no, it's not at 800.
Yes, no, no, it's not $800. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that was funny. If you know, you know.
Yeah, you know.
Basically.
Shout out JR in the Piper Academy.
There you go.
And speaking of JR, he just went live.
Oh, he did? Oh,
yeah.
I just set up the forward to go to Space City Breaks. I didn't realize JR was live. Ah, shit. Oh well. Listen, you guys have any other questions for Dave, and then we'll let Dave wrap up before we do anything. Bedell, you got any other questions for Dave?
I feel he's got to come back on again fairly soon, because I feel there's a lot more to talk about that we didn't get to discuss tonight. But
I think we got through half of the conversation.
Yes,
probably, maybe 2/3, or we rushed through some of it, but I think we got the picture kind of.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of work there. There's something that's lucky, but the work still has to be done for when that lucky happens. They had to do the work even with tap to pay before COVID happens. And of course, COVID was not lucky for anybody, but you know what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say about the adoption. So we just have to be ready, get, the people that are building, keep building. People that are hodling, keep hodling. If you want to spend it, go make some more of it. Go get paid in Bitcoin. That's the beauty of living in the world that we still live in today. As effed up as people think it is, we're still free to do those things. So take advantage of it.
I kind of regret spending my Bitcoin when it was at like mid-30s, but I think a lot of people in Bitcoin that's been around for 5 or 6 years now, they were probably spending it or whatever back when it was mid-30s, low 30s, and now they're like whatever. It happened.
I was spending Bitcoin when it was like barely above $100.
Yeah, that's when I was spending it.
Yeah.
Buying ounces of weed on Silk Road, thinking it was cool, man.
There it is.
And then
Hold
I
on,
probably
there's
have.
that bleep
There's
button.
probably 100. There's probably 100 Bitcoin sitting in all those seized wallets that eventually how the whatever the shop got shut down and that you lost whatever was in your change.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
over there. But who could think about that stuff? We just think about the future and move forward, right? Andy says bye, hype, and I'm with her.
There you go.
Remember
Whatever
the
Andy
past
says.
and
Andy's
use it
always right.
to move on in the future.
Andy's always right. BC, any other questions for Dave before we let him wrap things up?
Not that I can think of that wouldn't have us on a 30-minute
down
conversation.
a path. Okay, well, we got to get him back then, I guess. Dave, I know most of the people who are watching know who you are, but hopefully we'll pick up some new people on the replay and that kind of thing. So tell everybody about what you got going on, your simple terms, your proof of walk, all that kind of good stuff. Billy Goat Tales. Put it out there. Tell everybody.
Yeah. So as you guys know, Billy Goat Tales is trying to shift itself into a children's network focusing on financial literacy and Bitcoin. And then Givers Gain Network has kind of taken that Billy Goat Tales role. What's fun right now is the proof of walk, and I'm having so much fun on doing that. Not only because since we started, I feel like I get extra steps, right? So I used to dread just going the 25 minutes. Now we oftentimes go 30 or 31 minutes, and so that's a bonus. But recently, my mom joined in, and so she's watching every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I didn't talk to her 3 times a week before. And now I get to talk to her 3 times a week. My granny lives with mom, so she's joining in. This morning, my 2 nieces, Maddie and Briley, joined in. So I got all 4 of them that were on there. Mom just ordered a stationary bike. So these are just the little things that are so exciting on Proof of Walk. So it's just a channel where we get together and we just move. I'm not there to instruct anybody or do anything. I'm just there to play some good music and to walk with you, to show up with you, to do it with you. That's it. And so it's really cool, not to mention all the other cool things. Keith has been there to work out with me, and that's fun. Jesse always comes in just to tell us what he's having for dinner. He's in and out so fast. We've had Kelly come in and work out with us. We've had Steve has worked out with this. Mike Bolmer comes in there a lot. Patricio does his walk right after. Tex-Mex Biomex recently hosted a show for us, and he started his day one. So there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on with Proof of Walk, and I love that. And I hope that that's how it grows, is people realize that maybe there's somebody that they don't spend as much time with that they wanted to, and that they can come and do it there. That they can come there. We'll be there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Whether you're walking or you're just supported or you're just hanging out with that person that you want to hang out with, I think that's where it's going to happen, is on Proof of Walk. Of course, Simple Terms Podcast, I still love it. I mean, everything's going great with that. That's where I learn each week something new. Right now, it seems like we've been talking a lot about AI and trying to because it just changes so much. It's not just us talking to a chatbot anymore. I mean, we're talking to co-work and we're doing coding and we're doing all these things that now it can do by itself. So I had to get some reins on that and kind of understand what's going on. So, Simple Terms Podcast is that simply that I get there on Saturday mornings. It's an hour where I can learn something new, something that I didn't know. And I get to use the AI tools to do it. And with those tools, we can reduce the hallucinations, almost eliminate them, and we can have an actual conversation back and forth. I mean, I think that's super valuable. And, the topics will change as we evolve. But right now, we're doing a lot of focus on AI. And we do that Saturday mornings at 9.
9 a.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
Yeah, you should see it. If you're not watching, you really need to. And most of everything that Dave mentioned, links are in the description. So go ahead and check those out. I say it's about time for us to dance our way out of here. What do you guys think?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Right. Don't forget, everyone, we'll be back next Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be live again tomorrow with Crypto Jar, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then I got to give the shout out. Crypto on the Rocks, Friday night, 7 p.m. Bring your alcoholic beverage or any beverage. Okay. But, we like alcohol. And come talk crypto and God knows what else. All right. Have a good night,
And
everybody.
if you watch Simple Terms podcast, put it in
Yeah.
chat how we end out the show on Simple Terms.
That's right. Dance it out. Hey guys, thanks so much for having me. It's so cool to be on the show. I appreciate each and every one of you. Badell, BC Pork Cup, Keith. I thank you guys. It was cool. Definitely, we'll do it again.
Yes. Thanks for
Most
taking time out
definitely.
of your day.
Thank
Dave.
you.
Seriously.
Thank you for coming on and giving us your ideas on how we can help crypto do a little bit better.
All right. We're out. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Night all.
Later.
Dance it.
Screens glow, timeline scream, same fear, different day. Lock in, HODL the line, don't blink, don't fold. Hands stay steady when the stories get old. Charts go wild, but the taste is fine. Mindset, grounded, battle calm. BC breaking down the noise, hold the line. Yeah, we ride that grind through the fear, through the foot, through the echo chamber signs. They panic, sell, we design the climb. HODL the line, yeah. HODL the line. Old school charts in a new age storm. Seen cycles born, seen cycles torn. Zoomed out vision, long-term frame. While the feed chases candles, he studies the game. Macro whispers, history rhymes. Patience weaponized over time. No panic button, no rush to speak. Just